Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. Whether you are a gym goer or a gym owner, you're going to want to listen to today's show. Technology is influencing the way we train and how fast we can see results more than ever before. You know, we've talked about Arthur Jones and Nautilus and how he used his cam design to take advantage of natural strength curves and lose the importance of gravity, hold the body in a position where it targets a given muscle. To this day, some of his machines are sought after even now because they were so far ahead of their time. But after that, there wasn't a whole lot being done in the way of coming up with more effective equipment to generate faster and better results in training. But that's changed. There's a lot of players out there now, some using technologies and some using artificial intelligence and a variety of techniques all into one machine so that you can train for shorter periods of time and get the same results if you were spending, hours in the gym. This is a great thing because we're at a point with our population today where close to 50% are obese or overweight. This is driving disease states. No one wants to train. Nobody. It's hard. We know that. I mean, we've been training for decades, right? So we enjoy the hard work. I did a whole show with Brooks Kubik one time talking about the fact that some of us are working class humans, just the way there's working class dogs that if you don't take them out and hunt with them, they develop neurotic tendencies and start chewing the furniture in the house. We are working class humans, those of us who feel better after we train than before. And as a result, trying to get more people to want to exercise so that they don't have to develop diseases is requiring a lot of innovation in technology. And we're going to be talking about the gym of the future, really, today. So if you are a gym goer or if you are a gym owner or you think you want to own a gym someday, you got to pay attention. This is going to be a really good discussion. Before we get started, I have to thank our title sponsor, and that's Legendary Foods, makers of the Tasty Pastry. What started out to be a healthy Pop-Tart has become so much more. The Tasty Pastries taste amazing. I've been going to town on the chocolate cake one. It's unbelievable. They really taste like you're eating pastry cake. They don't taste artificial. More importantly, less than 1 gram of sugar, 20 grams of high quality protein, 4 to 5 net carbs if you're a low carb person. And if you don't believe they taste amazing, have your kids eat one, because kids won't eat a healthy protein bar, but you will have to pull them out of their hands because they will eat every one that you buy. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary. Use the coupon code SHR10 to save 10% off. And now let me bring my guest on all the way from Kuwait. How do you like that? Here, hold on a second. There we go. John Zarbock, how are you?
Mr. Lenore, I'm doing great. How are you?
Boy, technology is amazing. I mean, you're in Kuwait. What time is it in Kuwait right now?
It is 9-ish. It's 8 o'clock, 8 p.m.
in the evening. I mean, the picture is great. Technology really is amazing. You sit there, I sit here, and we're going to have a great discussion today about getting stronger and fitter faster. How did you find your way into this arena, let's say?
So it's a long story, and I know we're short on time in terms of how much detail you probably want. But basically, in 2018, I got back from here, actually, my third tour, and I didn't really want to do the Army full time anymore. I was in the National Guard. I still am in the National Guard, but I was full time in the National Guard. And I just kind of fell out of love with doing it as a full-time job. And fitness was really kind of the only other thing that I had a master's degree in cybersecurity, but I didn't really want to do that and go work corporate. So I asked myself, what is it that I really love doing? And I love to serve, and I love helping people feel better, look better, and just be at their best in life. And so basically I started a fitness studio. I bought a bunch of equipment and started doing personal training, essentially, started my own little thing. Well, the Army kind of has a way of like, when they want you to be somewhere, you got to be there. So even after I had just deployed, I was only home for about 3 months, and they just started sending me all over the country. Basically, I was full-time without being full-time. And it started to really disrupt my business. And so I got to a point where I was like, all right, I either have to just give up on my dreams and go back to full-time Army, or I'm going to have to, completely shut down. And so I started looking for some solutions. Well, in my search for solution, I found this advertisement, or it found me, on Facebook for an adaptive resistance exercise machine.
Mhm.
And it said that you can get an hour's worth of exercise in 10 minutes. And I was so skeptical, and I was just, I'm the type of guy where I've seen so many different gimmicks of fitness machines and contraptions and all this home gym equipment, and it's just all bullshit.
And as soon as somebody says, build muscle in just 3 minutes a day, I just turn the page. I'm like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah, because I come from the school of thought of, I'm from the Schwarzenegger. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and so he was my idol. Lou Ferrigno, and all I wanted to do was be a bodybuilder, and I followed Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman and all of those, like Phil Heath and all these guys from the 90s and early 2000s. And so the concept of working out anything less than 20 hours a week was completely off the table, right? Especially basically having a part-time job, exercising, and especially being in the Army, like it just went without saying. It was an afterthought. So I started doing more research because I was so motivated to want to prove it wrong. Well, after I did the research, that's when I discovered who Arthur Jones was, who Doug McGuff was, what high intensity training was, what the Nautilus machines were. And the more research I did, the more I realized, very humbly, I was a victim of a marketing campaign started in probably the late 60s by Joe Weider and his brother to convince me that more is more is more, and I have to be in the gym constantly using weights, using barbells, and doing all these things. And it was really simply that I just didn't understand exercise science. I had no idea how the body really worked. So I drove to Nashville to experience my first ARX because it was the closest city that had one to St. Louis. And I went to a place called Quantify Fitness. It's ran by this guy, Josh Jarrett. He's amazing. And I walked in and I felt like I was in the Starship Enterprise, but like in a gym. I mean, it was beautiful. And he had 4 pieces of equipment in his space. And I was like, this isn't even a gym. What's happening here? Right. And I did the ARX. My first workout on the ARX was 3 minutes. And I've never felt so humiliated and exhausted and properly exercised in my entire life.
Right.
6 weeks later, I owned them.
Mass Gain guy is watching from Memphis, Tennessee right now. I'm going to be up in Nashville for my birthday in June. So there you go.
Nice.
I've admitted this on the show before. I had an ARX machine in my basement for 4 months before I even powered it up because I thought it was bullshit. I've surrounded myself with some really strong people over my life, and I got really strong myself. And my attitude was, look, you want to squat 700 pounds, you're going to have to be squatting, every week like an animal. You want to bench press, you want to deadlift, you want to do those things. You need to spend hours in the gym, hours. Mm-hmm. And if you're watching the clock, like, well, I'll go in and train for 2 hours. No, you train until you're done. If it's 4 hours today, if it's 3 hours tomorrow, if it's 2 hours the day before, that's you're there to get this job done, to get these goals done. But
Sure.
the first time I trained on the ARX machine, I had like an epiphany. All the information that I had talked about over the years about eccentric stimulation of muscle tissue.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, like this is the holy grail of building muscle. And it really, really is. I'm not just saying that. I mean, we just did a show with a scientist from Australia. A maximum eccentric effort, you just need 3 seconds a week to build muscle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what he discovered in a lab. And it's like, so what if you do it more? What if you do it with more weight? What if you struggle harder? What's going to happen? And that was it for me. I was like, okay, I am going to build all of my workouts around the ARX machine. Now, as I said to you off the air, I am experimenting with lots of different programming. I'm doing split routines instead of a whole body. I'm doing 5x5, which is the stalwart of building strength in powerlifting. But now I'm incorporating. I'm getting ready to incorporate BFR bands. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start doing my ARX routine with blood flow restriction. And I'm also this week, my nephew Timmy gave me this idea. So the other day I put him on the ARX machine to let him train back one time. And he said, I'm exhausted. I says, now let's go to the gym and do a normal back workout. And we did. And it wasn't like we were toasted already, because you come to, when you start training on an ARX machine, you come to realize that what you're doing in the gym is so inefficient that you could crush yourself on an ARX machine and still go to the gym and do that workout. I mean, literally.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're spot on. But I want to circle back real quick about what you said about the 3 minutes a week for building muscle. I want to make a very important, at least to me, a very important distinction between what you said, which is scientific fact, right, based on so many studies of blood flow restriction and the eccentric, right, the negative movement, the ripping of those muscle fibers. When we say things like that, people have a tendency to think that is all is required, right? The 3 minutes is all I need for the whole week for like that. But what's happening is you only need 3 seconds, 3 seconds of stimulus for that one muscle to just grow a little bit bigger,
right?
Not to necessarily meet your goals,
no.
not to have a six pack, not to look like Schwarzenegger. Like, it's just, the science has proven that when you overload by stimulus a muscle in such a way as a negative or an eccentric, that you can force growth in as little as 3 seconds, right? So that's where I think a lot of people go wrong with the ARX. And I love the fact that I wouldn't even say that you overuse it. You just use it more than what it was probably originally designed to do, which is fine.
There's the old adage of what the lowest dose. People say, "Oh, always use the lowest dose to see the effect." Well, if you're looking for the lowest possible dose to build muscle and strength and fitness, ARX is your machine. You can do three, I don't know, maybe 10, 15-minute workouts, maybe not even that. I never really did the traditional ARX style workout, but 3 of those a week and see your body change over months. And if you're looking for the lowest effective dose, you're not going to find it on anything else but ARX. That's it. Because
it's literally impossible.
What's that?
It's literally impossible. It's technically impossible because there are no the monopoly, so to speak, that ARX has in technology is that there is no mechanized, motorized resistance that you can find on the market that is going to produce as near perfect of a dose of exercise as the ARX. It literally cannot be replicated.
And I've thought about this, okay, so you have a training partner. You can say, okay, I want you to help me with the negative, right? Mm-hmm. And the traditional movement is, right, I do a set of curls, and then you make me do some force negatives, and I hand you the bar, and you do a set of curls and I make you do some force negatives. But here's the problem. ARX gives you every single ounce of weight in the form of resistance that you can handle in both directions. Your training partner can't do that. He may be pushing down too hard. He may not be pushing down hard enough. He may have left something on the table. The intuitiveness combined with the fact that there is no other way to get a measured, effective, safe negative. It doesn't
Safe,
exist except on the
safe being the key word there, right? So many of my clients, if it weren't for me, and I don't mean this to sound braggadocious, it's just I've been told this so many times. If it wasn't for BioFit, if it wasn't for my offering of ARX or the smart equipment that I have, they literally wouldn't even work out. They literally wouldn't even exercise,
right,
because the box gym, the Planet Fitnesses and the Gold's gyms that may or may not still be around, Planet or the 24-hour fitness, these atmospheres, especially for women, holy shit for women, you know, the environment is so intimidating. And if you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't know what exercises and how to do them properly, all you're going to do is hurt yourself. And then you're going to have an instinctual resistance and say, I don't want to do that. I'll do anything but that. And then, so then what happens? Again, especially for women, the diet starts to get on the way too extreme, right? They start starving themselves, or they start just counting calories in these weird ways. And they're actually, in the long term, they end up doing so much more damage than good. And it's all because either they experienced a bad trainer who didn't know what they were doing, or a gym that, quite frankly, has a transactional relationship with every single one of their clients, sells more memberships than what they can actually handle. And they make money hedging their bets that you don't even show up. And when you show up to the gym, they're just like, here's your membership. Good luck. Yeah. And then you end up hurting yourself. And then what good is that? That helps nobody.
All right. I just want to put this up, bro. So Mass Gain Guy, who is watching live from Memphis, Tennessee on YouTube, he points out the hammer strength decline bench press machine is a blessing. Yes, I have horrible shoulders from, I detached a tricep on my left arm, and my shoulders were a mess. But yeah, that's that I can go as heavy as I want on that decline bench press machine, the seated one, the one that you sit on. I just used it this morning. Yeah, I know it's very good. And I just want to put this up real quick because this makes me feel good. There's a podcast of some really sharp guys called Mind Pump. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Clint CB says, love the show, guys. It appears that the guys at Mind Pump also love your show. So same content and sponsors. You know you're doing something right when others copy you, and you were first. Yes, I know. I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of fitness podcasting. I get
holy shit. You do sound like Rodney Dangerfield.
Well, no. Well, listen. I went to the same high school as him, Richmond Hill High School. Okay. Wow. And so I probably talk like him a little bit, but I did shows in 2006 that shows that strength equals longevity and health span. I've done shows. I mean, I can list shows right now that I did 10, 12 years ago that right now Dr. Peter Attia is talking about. He's getting all this fanfare for. And I started saying, I am the Rodney Dangerfield of fitness podcasting. I get no respect. It's almost like I didn't even do those shows. Nobody even cares. They just act like they're talking about something new when in fact they're resurrecting something that I was 10 years ahead of them on. But that's okay. But I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of fitness podcasting. There you go. But I'm glad to hear that the guys at Mind Pump, I like them. They're nice guys.
Yeah, that's a good pod.
So let's talk about your location for a second, because this is really the gym of the future. So you don't just have an ARX machine. You have other things at BioFit, right? Talk about it.
Yeah, so we have so we just consolidated 2 locations into one because I'm not there. I'm in Kuwait and I'm here until the end of the year. So it made sense to do that, not only from a logistical perspective, but also because of the location in downtown St. Louis, things were getting a little rough. And the desire to want to come into the city from the county was depleting quickly. So it just made a lot of sense to do that. So we have 6 ARX machines in one location. We also have 3 Carol bikes. Carol stands for Cardiovascular Optimization Logic. It's an artificial intelligence stationary bike that is a high intensity interval training system that is like designed specifically to deplete as much glycogen in your lower extremities as possible inside of 10 minutes, and then force an adaptive change in the body so that fat turns in. But yeah, basically fat turns back into sugar, and then you can burn it off in terms of movement.
So
and then you also
let's stay with this for a second. So high intensity interval training has been shown to reduce body fat the fastest of any type of cardiovascular training. And you don't have to be heroic. You could be on a like I have one of those Schwinn Airdynes. Is it Airdyne? Yeah, I have one of those Airdyne bikes. And so what I'll do is I'll get on it and I'll do maybe 10 minutes where I'm riding regular speed for 45 seconds, and then I blast off for 8 seconds, and I do that maybe 8 or 9 or 10 times. That's all you need when you're doing that kind of high intensity interval training. But the fascinating thing about this type of training is it doesn't just obliterate fat. It obliterates a really nasty form of fat that leads to a lot of metabolic diseases, and that's visceral fat, the fat that stores itself around your heart, around your liver, around your kidneys, around your lungs. Yeah. And I am starting to think, and I'm just posing this question, that ARX produces that same, it flips those same evolutionary switches like, oh man, I'm being chased by a lion, which that sprint does for you. I got a feeling that ARX also goes after visceral fat. Any evidence of that?
Yeah, I don't have any evidence to cite specifically. I mean, I know that I've read plenty out there. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But you know, Carl, I'm in the Army, so I got to keep things real simple, right? For me, I just try to think of like first principles, and I think about humans. We haven't evolved much in the last 100,000 years.
That's right.
Homo sapiens, we're pretty the same physically.
Right.
Consciously, mentally, obviously you could make a case for why we're way different, but biologically, we're basically the same. So if you're going to get bigger, stronger, faster, more resilient, whether it's your immune system, whether it's your skin, whether it's whatever it is, exposure matters and intensity matters. So the same thing that you're talking about with the sprinting and the high intensity interval training being like one of the best methods for burning fat, the ARX does the same thing across the entire spectrum with muscle building, stamina building, agility building, flexibility, fat burning, because, and this might turn a few people off, but it just I don't know how else to really explain it. What you're essentially doing through the stimulus of exercise is you're producing a near death experience to the body on a molecular level. You are giving the body, you're asking the organism that is your body to do a thing that it literally can't do. Gun to your head, gun to your kid's head, you're never going to win against an ARX machine. But the point is not to win. The point 100,000 years ago was not to win a fight with a bear. If a bear attacked you, the point was to fight the bear to safety, to go to the cave and then relax. Right. And then the next time, after you've recovered from that near-death experience, the body then has to adapt, and it has to figure out, okay, if that ever happens again, I have to be a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger in order to survive a little bit longer. It's a survival mechanism. And so the body doesn't want fat, visceral fat. The body doesn't want to be 35% body fat. Right. It doesn't. Like we're mobile creatures. We need muscle. Like, and you said it, I think it was, it might have been in your Paul Check pod the other day on Friday. strength is the number one indicator of long life.
Yes.
Bone strength, so bone density, and skeletal muscle strength. And the ARX is by far it is the best machine in existence so far that produces better bone density results and strength results in as little amount of time as you can apply to it. It's simply unparalleled.
So from a gym owner, now let's talk to the gym owners out there, or the gals who would like to open their own gym. From a gym owner's perspective, is this a much more profitable and effective way to operate a gym than, spending a couple $100,000 on leases for equipment and selling a $9.95 a month membership and hoping that nobody shows up, because then you could keep selling memberships? Is this a more effective gym model?
So you're gonna have to bear with me on my answer, because I would consider it to be a very controversial one. And in my experience, based on all the other studio owners across the country that I know, that I've met, that I've talked to on the phone, and some other business owners just in general, the answer is it depends. It depends on what your client experience is. So what I mean by that is, and I can promise you, you will not find a bigger fan of ARX than me. You won't do it. But the one thing that I think that ARX, and this isn't necessarily in their business model either, which I understand, but the one thing that I think ARX misses in their model is ARX machines are not replacements for personal trainers. They can be, right? Like, you can sell someone a barbell and just be like, good luck. Here's a book. I hope you can figure it out. And you can sell 1 million of those and make the Forbes 400, right? You can have an ARX studio or certain pieces of machines, and you can just, go to Chamber of Commerce meetings and brag on your P&Ls all day, because you're just selling memberships, right? That is a very profitable model. And I can almost guarantee you that if you're a good business person, then it'll work. I choose not to run my business that way. I'm profitable, but barely. And so I focus so much on the client experience, and I want to make sure that every single one of my clients, like, I'm trying to build a community. I'm trying to build a business around actually helping people get better, not just stronger, looking better naked, and giving them the best exercise they've ever had. I follow up with clients. I take them to dinner. I take them to breakfast. I go to their kids' sports games. I have a vested interest in the human being that is my client. And when they come to me and tell me that there's a thing that they want to accomplish, then that's what they hire me to do, is to help them accomplish that thing. I just have my bias in that, and I think it stems a lot from my military career. If you can't take care of yourself physically first, if you don't have the foundation, then everything else just becomes like, what are you doing? Right. Like, so so it depends on how intimately connected you want to be with your clients in terms of profitability. If you want to do it my way, my plan, my calling, my service calling in life with BioFit is a 30-year plan, right? But if you want to open up a studio exactly like mine and make $1 million in your first 5, you could totally do that if you were money motivated. It depends on how you fill your cup. And so, for example, the message that you just got about the mind pump, how did that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel great that they're paying attention to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So do me a favor. I want you to take that feeling and I want you to quantitatively put it on your P&L.
Yeah, you can't. You
can't do it, Carl. And so for me, and like I said, I'm a minority, and this is a controversial step that I take. But after serving in the military for 20 years and putting my life, between the Constitution and everybody who wants to tear it apart, my calling, my service with BioFit is build better humans. And if I can build better humans one at a time, I believe that I can build a better world, because when everyone gets to do what they want to do in 24 hours instead of what they have to do, we all benefit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, I mean, it's a hard question to answer, but that's my answer.
I want to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk about the customer experience, because most people join a gym, they maybe stay for a few months and then they leave because they don't see really any results. They don't feel that there's any intrinsic value to exercise in and of itself, unless it's you're losing body fat or building muscle. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about how your clients feel after working with BioFit, and do they see results, and what do they say? So let's do this. Let's take a real quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be right back with more of John Zarbock, and we're talking about getting bigger and stronger and more fit faster. Stay tuned. I would easily say that I am the hugest proponent you will ever meet to doing anything that will improve the quality of my sleep. And that's because sleep is linked to just about every metabolic disorder we see in our population today. One of the easiest things you can do to improve the quality of your sleep is to get a pillow that can be shaped into the exact form factor that allows you to get your best night's sleep. And that is MyPillow. I've been sleeping with MyPillow for a few years now, and I can tell you that when I have to travel and stay in hotels, I don't get a good night's sleep because I don't have MyPillow with me. Right now, you can save up to 60% off of everything offered to improve the quality of your sleep at shrnetwork.biz/mypillow when you use the code SHR. Or you can call toll-free 800-889-4938. And remember to use code SHR to save up to 60% off of everything at their website. If you'd like a shortcut to better sleep, more energy, and calmer, more stable moods, then you should make sure you're supplementing with magnesium daily. Let me tell you why. About 75% of people are magnesium deficient. This deficiency can lead to higher levels of anxiety, irritability, trouble sleeping, and low energy. It can even contribute to foot and leg cramps while you sleep. Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers is the single best magnesium supplement in the world. Simply take 2 capsules before you go to bed, and you'll be amazed by the improvements in your mood and energy levels, and how much more rested you feel when you wake up. I take Magnesium Breakthrough every night, and I sleep better because I use it. Go to magbreakthrough.com/SHR and use the code SHR10 during checkout to save 10% off and get free shipping. Check it out.
Dogs should be powered by fat and protein, not carbs. That's why Visionary Pet makes low-carb, ketogenic dog food for dogs of all breeds and life stages. From kibble to freeze-dried and even low-carb treats, all Visionary Pet recipes are very low-carb, ketogenic, and made with 100% real meat protein. Shop now and use code SHR for 20% off your first order today. Your dog deserves the lifelong benefits of optimal nutrition. Make the switch to Visionary and see why smart dogs eat low carb.
Being superhuman means being conscientious about the choices we make. White Oak Pastures is superhuman when it comes to raising livestock. They're committed to animal welfare, land regeneration, and rural revival. They responsibly manage the entire process from the pasture to your doorstep. High-quality, pasture-raised, great-tasting meat from a farm you can trust. Full nose-to-tail selections. They even have options for your pet. Go to shrnetwork.biz/whiteoak and use the code SUPERHUMAN to save 10% off your entire first order. If you've listened to Superhuman Radio for any length of time, you know I'm a big proponent of peptides. One of my favorites is GHKCU, the blue copper peptide. It has the ability to repair and regenerate more youthful expressions of skin cells, reversing the signs of aging. Restore Cell's Stem Cell Awakening Serum, along with their other products, contain potent formulations of blue copper peptide and only the highest quality organic ingredients. Superhuman Radio listeners can now save 25% site-wide. Buy their complete set and receive a free exfoliating cleanser. Go to shrnetwork.biz/blue and use the code SHR25. That's SHR25. Remodel your skin today. C60, also known as Buckminster fullerene, is the most powerful, most versatile antioxidant in the world. It's been shown in studies to double the lifespan of rodents. We all know the importance of taking antioxidants to slow aging, reduce inflammation, and improve mitochondrial function and energy production. But there are literally hundreds of antioxidants that would cost you thousands of dollars to take every every day. I take one. I take C60 from C360 Health. Revive and Rejuvenate are 2 blends that harness the power of C60. Don't waste another minute. Go to shrnetwork.biz/revive and use the code SHR for 15% off and free shipping inside the United States today.
This is the Superhuman Channel. Evolution just got kicked up a notch.
Welcome back. We're talking with John Zarbock. He owns BioFit. It's a gym in St. Louis. If you live in or around St. Louis, you can go there. So talk about the customer experience. You know the rigmarole. January, everybody buys a gym membership. February, maybe March, they're gone. Even with personal trainers, because they don't see the results related to what they perceive the effort to be. What is it like when clients start using an intelligent gym like this?
So, I mean, I can, I obviously have a lot of feedback from clients. I don't necessarily want to speak for them in terms of my bias, but, everything about what we do at BioFit is evidence-based, scientifically proven. All the machines are the latest in fit tech that you can find on the planet, obviously, in my opinion. But, I mean, you're just not going to find a better machine than the Carol Bike or the ARX. We also use a Fit 3D body scanner to grab the metrics for body composition so that we can take a client from them coming in to see us, right? What is your problem? Here's what we think a solution could be. And we take them through the journey, through the experience of, you tell me what you're trying to accomplish, and I'm going to do everything in my power to help you do that. Whether that's in 90 days, 120 days, 1 year, right? And we try to also do a really good job of helping manage expectations, right? Most of my clients who come in, they just want to look better naked. They want to lose weight. They say they want to lose weight. Everybody just wants to lose weight.
Yeah, but they really want to lose fat and build muscle.
They want to lose fat.
Yes.
And they want to be stronger. That's not like, words matter, right? And so what we do is we help reframe the conscious part of the brain to say, listen, I hear what you're telling me, but this is what I think you actually mean. And
because the fastest way to lose weight is get cancer, but nobody wants to lose weight that way.
Just stop it. If you want to lose weight, stop moving. Atrophy all your muscle. You'll weigh nothing.
Right.
But so then again, I have, and I have a lot. This really more pertains to female clients, right? They don't want to lift heavy. Because they were told that if they strength train,
they don't want to get bulky,
right? So you have to be able to explain to people and educate them. Listen, muscle weighs more than fat. You're going to probably lose a few pounds in the beginning, right? Because you're probably full of salt, right? We're going to change your diet a little bit. We have a nutritionist, an amazing nutritionist that we work with, Julie Vitale, that we basically send every single client to, because diet is everything. Like, you cannot exercise your way out of a bag of chips or out of a pepperoni pizza or friggin' Jimmy John's. Like, you just can't do it. And so it's a lot about expectation management. And then it's about education, right? It's about motivation, inspiration, education, and it's about accountability. And when you give someone, it's like, you've heard the adage, like, people don't quit jobs, people quit bosses.
Right.
Well, like, people quit gyms or people quit trainers because they don't feel supported. Carl, you have an ARX, so you understand. But I think what a lot of fitness owners or a lot of fitness professionals that are dealing with clients, what they fail to realize is the intimacy of the relationship. You're dealing with clients.
Right.
The people that are your clients, these human beings who are coming to you with a problem that they need help solving. They are coming to you every single part of their week at the most vulnerable part of their entire life because they don't want to be there.
Right.
They might like the equipment. They might like the workout. You might have a good rapport with your client, but let's just be honest. Nobody wants to exercise.
Right.
Nobody wants to have to do those things.
That's evolutionarily programmed genetics. I had oh God, I can't believe I say his name every week, but I'm off caffeine again. For those who are laughing at me in the audience, I've given up caffeine so many times now. It's actually a joke. But Dr. Daniel Lieberman, he wrote the book, The Story of the Human Body. He's an anthropologist from Harvard, and he tells the story. He says obesity is very easy to understand if you look at us through evolutionary eyes. We are programmed to consume energy and conserve energy, because if you don't conserve it, you got to consume more. If you got to consume more, you got to look for more. That means you're going to be in danger more often. So he said, if you had 2 coconut trees in the jungle and you put an escalator next to one of them, all the Aborigines will start taking the escalator. They don't want to climb the tree either, but that's the only way they can get the coconut. Now you gave them a different way. Now all of a sudden they're going to start getting fat.
Yeah, it's human. It's human nature.
Yes.
Right. The whole reason why you and I are able to even converse right now through the telecommunication revolution of technology is because we're designed to just we're in a never ending desire to want to find the easiest way to do everything. That's why remote controls exist. Right? Someone got tired of getting off the couch and manually turning the 3 channels on the friggin' television. So they're like,
how easy we are.
Fuck this. And then they got the universal remote.
Yeah,
right?
6 feet. And don't forget, back then TVs were little. I had a 12-inch Sharp when Sharp first came out. I watched the 1969 Mets win the World Series on it, black and white. It was 3 feet away, but it came with a remote control. Really? Like, who needs a remote control if you just lean over and grab it? But that's who we are. They call them creature comforts, right? Creature comforts.
Absolutely. Yeah. So nobody really wants to be there, first of all, right? But then again, when you're dealing with someone in their weakest, experiencing near death, right? And they're in the most vulnerable place where they're coming to you because they don't feel good enough. Right? Most people, right? And so if you don't foster that relationship, and if you don't pay attention to the delicacy of the state of mind and the state of being with that person, with that client, they're not going to make it. And there's only so many memberships that you can sell before you get the reputation of like, no, these guys, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, nothing's going to change for you. Save your money. This is a really interesting question. So Aiden Ray, there's 2 interesting questions within here. He says, do you have any before and after physique photos or you don't have any photos, you're in Kuwait, but stories about strength gains in seasoned lifters? Now I can tell stories about me and I'll be glad to chime in, but do you have any stories about guys and gals who?
So I don't because, and I mean no disrespect to seasoned lifters, but if you haven't tried an ARX before, you just, I don't know if you'll be able to understand it. Bodybuilders hate what I do. They think I'm a joke. They don't want to have any part of it because it's a mindset. If you are a power lifter, if you're a bodybuilder, if you're a CrossFitter, right? I run my business. The majority of my clients are very busy professionals, single moms or professional moms who they don't have five hours a week.
Right.
They barely have 30 minutes to come into my studio. Right. So the majority of my clients are paying for me to know what I'm doing and to provide them with the most effective, efficient, and safe way to get to a result that they otherwise would have no way of being able to get to.
So
Now,
go ahead.
if you're a seasoned lifter, well, you have 20 hours a week to waste or spend in the gym doing whatever it is that you're doing. So the concept of what I'm doing is completely lost on, most, I would say, like, veteran exercise enthusiasts.
But see, now I'm a veteran exercise enthusiast, right? So and so I can speak to this, and I can tell you that in about just under 2 months now, I've put on. This is no bullshit. Okay, I put on a good 4 pounds of solid muscle mass, and now, granted, I'm hormonally optimized. I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. I eat 270 to 300 grams of protein a day. And I have trained hard for well over 22 years. So I have a good foundation of muscle to begin with. But this machine has challenged me in ways that I never would have thought. And this is really important too. And if we kind of touched on this earlier, it's worth talking about again. When I had Dr. Malin Watfi on the show about his book of Doves, Diplomats, and Diabetes probably 8 years ago, I discovered the importance of risk. And for lack of better terms, let's call it struggle. Most of us, we struggle on the last rep. Somebody pulls it out of your hand, they pull it to the rack, and you're safe, right? But the ARX machine actually creates a sense of risk without the danger of injury, which is, in my opinion, is impossible, but it does. Well, we would talk about this off the air. I trained chest this morning. So right now what I'm doing is I'm training on the ARX machine for an abbreviated session. And then I'm going to the gym and hitting 16 to 20 rep ranges with weight and doing 100 reps of chest presses, 100 reps of flies, just to get the blood in the muscle and pump it up, because I don't get that kind of pump on the ARX machine. I get a pump, but it's not that my pecs are so full they feel like they're going to burst. So I top it off with that. But what I can tell you,
you supplement with something else.
Yeah, I do. But I prime the muscles with the ARX machine. When I was doing my pressing this morning, there was a point where I thought, I think I can resist it more, but I'm afraid to. Like, will I break a bone in my arm? And so you just let it go and you ride it back. But that fear, that implied sense of risk is missing in exercising today. It is missing. And the ARX machine puts it back in there. But here's the beauty. You can't hurt yourself, because all you got to do is give up. Just stop pushing, drop your hands, let the machine ride its way out, and you're not in any risk. And of course, you got to make sure you never lock out your elbows or your knees or any of those.
I mean, I made many mistakes, and I haven't had any clients injure themselves, to any serious degree on any of my machines. I've had a few exercise headaches, for people not breathing properly and, some pre-existing conditions and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's not that you can't hurt yourself on the ARX machine, but if you have a healthy relationship with your ego, then your ability to hurt yourself is almost
diminished.
Yeah. Right.
See, I don't have that healthy ego. I
don't have it.
I talk about this on the show. So back in the day, when I was at my strongest, maybe let's say Monday, I deadlifted. And then now Tuesday I come in, I'm just going to do cardio. And I see a friend of mine on the platform getting ready to deadlift. And I know I can out deadlift him. And I think, you know what? I'm not going to do cardio. I'm going to go back down and deadlift again today. I'm that asshole. But I have 3 detached hamstrings on the attachments on the left hamstring, 2 on the right. I had a reattachment of a tricep. I have a torn bicep that just stays down here now. I mean, I'm proof that ego will destroy you over time. So, but it's true. I had problems with that ego, but I don't have it on the ARX machine because the ARX machine scares me a little bit. I think, if I hold on to this movement too long, I may end up getting injured. And so I just let it ride out.
Sure.
But it's that implied risk that Malin Watfi talked about that causes the super compensation that we all hunger for from all the hard work we do. And if you don't have that implied risk, you're not getting everything you can out of your workout.
You're not forcing the body, your organism, you're not forcing it to have to change and adapt to a stimulus or to an environment in which to get better, to harder, faster, stronger, to survive better, to become more resilient. It's just simply, it's just that.
It is, and you can't get it from anything else you're doing except really dangerous stuff.
You can just nowhere near as efficiently. Yeah. Like, for example, like you could have, if you went to the gym every single time you worked out and you had 2 dedicated spotters and you had people that were putting the weight on, you're doing drop sets, and you had experienced spotters that were going to make sure that if you were doing a negative on the bench press at, say, 500 pounds, you could mimic the ARX. But again, is it going to be as efficient and effective? No,
because that day you could have handled 600 on the eccentric, but you only loaded 5. That's the beauty of the ARX. It's literally adjusting to everything you can handle at the moment, and that's up and down. I mean, it's adjusting either way. There's nothing like it. There's nothing.
So let me circle back because I don't want. I think his name was Mark. I don't want him to feel like his question went unanswered or dodged. So I don't have any photos. I don't take photos of my clients. Adam, sorry. I don't take. That's not what I do. If I have a client that comes to me and their sole number one goal is just, I want 6-pack abs, there's a CrossFit down the street. Like, that's not what I do. That's not what I want to do. I don't think that's what they want either, but I'm not going to get into a battle of trying to convince somebody that they want something that they think they don't. But the ARX machine has a feedback in real time. It's a feedback mechanism that will track and capture every single millisecond of every single workout from a concentric and eccentric perspective. So then over time, whether it's a week, a month, a year, whatever, however many workouts you're doing, every single workout is not only recorded in the cloud for your own profile, but in real time, you're competing against a previous version of yourself on the exercise. So let me break it down for you like this. So when you're doing an ARX workout, the very first, whether you start concentric or eccentric is somewhat irrelevant, but let's, for intensive purposes for my drawing, let's say we're going to start with the negative. Okay. So you're going to start with the machine coming back at you like a trash compactor, literally a trash compactor that you're not going to be able to stop. So you're going to spike up. Okay. And you're at a 1 rep max effort. So let's assume for the purposes of this, 500 pounds of pressure is your 1 rep max. That is how much torque you're able to resist to literally crush you. Life-saving, gun to your head effort. Then you're going to go concentric and you're going to drop down to, say, 250. Then as you progress, you're still using a 1 rep max effort. The effort never changes. It's the only constant, or it can be the only constant. So then you've already done 500 pounds one time. If it's a 1 rep max, Carl, does that mean we can do 500 twice?
Mm-mm. You shouldn't.
No.
If you did if it's a true 1 rep max.
So now you go up and you do 375. You resist second rep. It's coming back. Now your best effort, 1 rep max, is 375. Then we go down to 170. We go back up to say 300, we come down to 150, and the numbers are way off. So just don't hold me to these.
But each one of those do 1 rep max, because that's all you can do at that time.
Yes. When you have reached what the ARX machine, what the algorithm calls a 40% inroad, right? When you at your 1 rep max effort are only capable of achieving 40% of your 1 rep max, the exercise is over. Yeah. Stop. That is the near perfect. It's like, Carl, if I told you exactly, I don't know, do you like to, you're a little bit more tan than I am, but I don't know if it's like a.
No, I lay in the sun. I lay in the sun.
What if I told you, like, because I don't tan well, right? Like, I go outside, I burn, game over.
Right.
But what if I told you that I could calculate the exact amount of lumens coming from the sun, how exactly down to the second, how much sun exposure your skin needed to be the perfect amount of tan that you wanted to be every single time?
Right.
That's what the ARX is for exercise.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
It's perfect every single time. So to answer the guy's question, I have tons of data. And if he wants to reach out to me, I'll give him my contact at the end of the show, and I'll get him in touch with maybe some of my clients who can share their stuff with him, because every client gets their information. They get access to a cloud, and you can go see all your data at any time. It's not mine, it's yours. You know, I'm not Google, so I'm not trying to like store all your data and sell it to friggin' hospitals.
Yeah. I want to take a last commercial break, and when we come back, I got a question from R. Vasquez asking about my protein sources. So we'll get into that, and we'll talk about diet, and then we'll also tell people how they can reach you. Okay,
cool.
Sit tight. Right back. Most people have heard of phytoestrogens, but did you know there are beneficial phytoandrogens? The top source of these is pine pollen. It even contains trace amounts of testosterone and DHEA. If you're looking for a 100% natural testosterone booster, this is worth trying. Lots of men love it, and it even works for women. Lost Empire Herbs offers the highest quality wild harvested, non-irradiated pine pollen backed by a 365-day money-back guarantee. It works for you, or you don't have to pay for it with nothing to send back. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Lost Empire. Use code SHR. Get 15% off your order today. Plant medicine has become all the rage for mental optimization. Now there's an ancient plant medicine rapidly growing in popularity that experts believe might just be the alcohol of the future. It's called True Kava. Kava is a natural food-grade elixir that has been used for over 3,000 years by South Pacific Islanders as safe, non-addictive alternative to drugs and alcohol. By naturally boosting the brain's main feel-good chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, and GABA, Kava provides you with both increased relaxation and mental clarity at the same time. True Kava is a new form of stabilized full-spectrum traditional kava that is third-party lab tested for quality and safety. Go to shrnetwork.biz/True Kava, and that's TRUKAVA, all one word, and use code SHR for 25% off today. Remember those rectangular toaster pastries you used to love when you were a kid? Well, Legendary Foods has just made them better. The new cake-style tasty pastry is like nothing you've ever had before. With 20 grams of high-quality protein and less than 1 gram of sugar, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off your purchase of tasty pastries. Now available in cookies and cream, red velvet cake, birthday cake, blueberry, strawberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and hot fudge sundae. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use code SHR10 today.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
Are you 35 or older? Every year after puberty, your growth hormone decreases sometimes by 50% by the age of 35, and it only keeps going down from there. This affects everything from making it harder to recover from workouts, sleep, and a general loss of a sense of well-being. It also affects your ability to get and stay lean. BioPro Plus is the first of its kind, 100% non-synthetic alternative to prescription synthetic growth hormone treatments. All the benefits without any of the needles or side effects and 100% safe. Previously only available through doctors, you can go to shrnetwork.biz/biopro, that's BIOPRO, and use code SHR30 for $30 off today.
You are listening to the Superhuman Channel. We're ripped and we're ready.
Welcome back. Very nice of you to be with us all the way from Kuwait, John, also. Thank you so
Carl, I'm a nobody. And 5 days ago, no, a week ago, I guess, today's Friday, right? You had Paul Check on your show. Okay. Paul Check is the OG
I know.
of holistic everything. Like he's like one of my idols.
Right.
And so for you to have invited me on your show and then having me follow the likes of him, it is my privilege. It is my honor to be on your show, sir. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that. So let's see here. R. Vasquez 818, who's watching on YouTube right now, says protein sources. So I pretty much start the day out the same.
Meat.
So, what's that?
Meat. That's it.
Yeah, I eat a lot of meat. I eat 2 pounds of beef a day. So I start out in the morning with a protein shake and raw oatmeal, 60 grams of protein. And then I usually do my ARX routine that I'm doing now. And then I go to the gym, and then I train at the gym, and then I stop at my favorite little restaurant, Highland Mornings, and I get a 6-ounce steak and 4 eggs, and then I eat that. Sometimes I'll get a little more oatmeal if I feel like I need some more carbs in the morning. I generally cut my carbs off after the morning. Then a little while ago, I was in a hurry, so I drank a muscle milk, 40 grams of protein, but usually I have a half pound of beef before the show. I have a half pound of beef after the show, and then generally eat either beef or pork when I get home. So I get around 300 grams of protein. Yes, it's very meat heavy. I'm a very meat heavy person for sure.
300 grams of protein in a day is not easily done.
No, not. But you know what I use? I use peptides, and I use GHRP6 and CJC 1295 15 to 20 minutes before any meal that I don't want to eat. Because some days I'm like, yeah, I just don't even feel like eating this right now. I take about 200 micrograms of GHRP6 and 200 micrograms of, really, they call it CJC 1295, but it's not. It's actually a modified growth factor 1 through 29. And that spikes my growth hormone, but it also makes me really hungry in about 15 minutes. In fact, part of the problem with elderly people is they don't eat enough protein. And that's because they're not hungry. Right. And the idea of eating a steak just doesn't, it sounds too much for them, right? GHRP6 could really save a lot of elderly people from losing muscle mass, because if you take a shot of even 150 micrograms 20 minutes before you want to eat, you will eat, and you will eat everything. no doubt. But yeah, that's the only way I really do get it in.
I think, yeah, elderly people have, well, just in general, like I love the elderly. I think our seniors, right? Like our greatest mentors are the elders of the tribe. I took care of my grandma for a really long time when I was young, before she died. I've always been very close with my grandparents. And so, but yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think older people, 70 and older, 65 and older, well, they're not hungry because they're not moving. Like they're not doing anything to generate an appetite, right? They're not burning any of the calories. And so I would agree with you that, we need to get real serious about, if you want any longevity for your life, in your elder years, bone density, strength training, protein synthesis, i.e., very good, strong protein sources. These are the things that are going to keep you living longer. And what do those three things all do? They keep you strong.
Yes.
Strength
In fact,
equals life.
The show that I did that I talked about, the California VA did a study. And I've talked about it so many times on the show. The people that are listening are going to recite what I say. It was 10 or 15 years. It was like 20,000 men. And it was a very simple study. They had all of these guys were at the VA for whatever reason, Agent Orange, whatever. What they did was they had these guys do a leg press, 1 rep max. How much can you press? That was it. They marked that down at the beginning of the study. And then every time these guys were back at the VA, for whatever reason, they would bring them over to the room and have them leg press again. And what they said unequivocally was the men who were the strongest at the beginning of the study and who maintained their strength through the study were still alive at the end of the study. The guys who were the weakest at the beginning of the study and got progressively weaker during the study died of all-cause mortality. And so that's when, I take rapamycin. I do a lot of crazy shit. I know. But the reality is the only thing in science that has shown to extend the lifespan and health span of humans, not rodents, not piglets, of humans, is strength. And there was one study that showed women to the age of 60 and men to the age of 65, the more muscle mass they have going into 60 and 65, the longer they live. It's like we need to stop wasting our time with magic beans and magic potions and get in the friggin' gym and extend your life. Because I say this all the time. The audience probably gets tired of hearing it, but stronger is younger. If I'm stronger today than I was last month, which I am, I'm younger than I was last month. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah. You feel, it's not an old adage for no reason. I mean, you're only as old as you feel, right? And if you don't feel old, well, then you're going to live longer. You're going to be doing things. You're going to have more purpose in life you're going to have more reasons to live.
Yes. To get up in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And so that, to circle back with what I was telling you about the client experience and how I approach business, I put people before profits, right? That's my business mantra. Again, it's not a very popular way to conduct business. However, it breaks my heart. I'm 37 years old. I'll be 38 this year. I'm in my 20th year of serving in the military, and I'm going to retire really soon and pursue my calling of, BioFit and smart fitness studios and all these things. But it absolutely breaks my heart that we live in a world, especially now because of the climate, financial climate and everything that's happening. I don't want to go down that road, but when we have an entire generation, 2 generations, not just the boomers, but the Gen Xers, who have spent the last 30 years of their life working their asses off for a corporation or an organization, or literally giving themselves, sacrificing all their time, all their energy to accumulate what they hope to be resources enough to retire at that age of 60 or 65. But the last 30 years have not been spent focusing on their health and their strength and their mental resilience and all of these things, their immune system. What they've done is they've hedged, they've taken genetics potentially for granted, and they've put all that on the back burner, and they've made money, and they've been successful, and they've raised families, and they've got kids through college, and they've done all these things. And now they spend the last 30 years of their life using what they've accumulated in the first 30 to just stay alive.
Yeah.
They don't even get to live. They're just keeping themselves alive with a retirement check or a pension, that they don't even get to enjoy. They don't have a reason for being. And so those are the people who I want to meet and capture and work with and inspire and educate. And I want to create an environment in a world where I can help produce as many humans doing whatever their special spark thing, whatever the thing is that their soul was put here to do. Because I believe we all have one very specific mission and purpose in this life. And not everybody gets to experience and learn what that is. Right. I feel like I've learned that. I discovered that through a lot of self-work, throughout the years. But I think if everybody was able to tap into that, they don't necessarily have to start a business doing it. That doesn't have to be the primary means of income. But if everybody had the ability to do the thing and share that with the world, our world, Elon would have us on Mars in the next decade.
Yep.
I have no doubt.
I agree.
So, but it starts with those giant generations of people who we need their tacit knowledge of life on Earth to help us figure shit out. Because I'm telling you, if we're relying on everybody who's my age and below, it's going to be a shit show.
Right.
We need you and your generation to be like, hey, don't do that. That's stupid. I tried doing that and it didn't work. Skip that landmine and let's take the hill fast.
Learn from other people's mistakes. My father used to say, and it's the truth. It's the truth. I want to do two things. I want to tell people, how can they reach you if they want to reach you? Do you have a special? Well, first of all, you have a website, right?
Yeah, it's biofitstl.com.
Okay.
My email is just john@biofitstl.com. We're on a bunch of social platforms. I don't social very well. I need to get better at doing that. But I'm on Instagram at BioFitSTL, YouTube. I've done a few other podcasts. You can do search my name on Spotify and I'll come up. But hopefully, make sure if you're going to do a search for BioFit, include St. Louis or STL, because there's some supplement company out of Canada that friggin' called themselves BioFit and they're selling some snake oil potion, fat loss shit that just completely ruined my brand. But yeah, it's just there's a million different ways to get a hold of me.
And for those of you who have never really taken a look at an ARX machine, just go to shrnetwork.biz/ARX. A lot of you will go there and go, my God, Carl, that's so expensive. Yeah, the ARX machine at this point in time isn't really designed for individuals. Although, some of us have it. I was fortunate because they wanted to advertise on the show. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to afford one. But, Ron Penna has one. Dave Asprey has one. Dave needs to start working out, by the way. I've talked about this the past couple of months. He needs to start training because he's disappearing. But the ARX machine right now is targeted to people who want to open up their own fitness studios. All you need is this machine. Now, you have other things, and I don't want to paint this illusion that all you have is the ARX machine and the Carol. You have another machine that's a pretty cool machine too, called a Vesper, right?
Yeah, it's called the Vasper. It's short for vascular performance, and it's blood flow restriction on a recumbent bike with a cooling mechanism so that it doesn't trigger the blood to rise up to the skin, so that it doesn't trigger sweating. Mm-hmm. It's a 21-minute protocol, and performed at your maximum capacity should essentially mimic in 21 minutes approximately 2 hours of cardio, high intensity interval training exercise.
That's insane. That's amazing. That's amazing. But the ARX machine is really the core of the business because that's really what people want. They want to get stronger. They want to lose body fat. And that's going to be the ARX machine. So again, what'd you say?
Well, I was going to say, and they want to do it quickly. Right?
Yes.
We are a convenience culture, and people want what they want now. And so what the ARX does, among many things, what the ARX does better than any other fitness exercise equipment, period, is deliver the most effective and efficient and safe workout on the planet, hands down. I would love for anybody to challenge that on any other piece of machine.
Yeah, no, I told you, I thought it was bullshit. I didn't touch mine for like 5 months. Now I wish I would have started when I got it in December of last year. Again, shrnetwork.biz/ARX. I am building the best body I've ever had right now. I predict that I'll be 64 in June. I'm not going to be ready in June to unveil, but sometime this year I'm going to go get a photo shoot done because my shoulders have never been bigger and rounder. My back has never been thicker. It's just insane. I even inspired Ron Penna to start using his more. He has one, but Ron's an OG. He does a metabolic workout one day. He does a powerlifting one day. And I told him, I says, Ron, I'm doing a 5x5 split. I'm doing back. I'm doing chest. I'm doing legs. I'm doing shoulders. I said, and I can't believe how much muscle I put on. I was only using it for like 3 weeks at this point. I says, this thing is insane. And he said, I'm going to start using it more. I'm going to start doing a split too. So
imagine being in a position, like you have one in your basement.
I do.
Imagine having to be somebody who has to drive 40 minutes one way to come do the ARX twice a week. Imagine that, because that's happening. That's happening all across the country.
And people want it because they see results. They go, oh my God, I can't believe my chest looks so different. My shoulders look so different. It's because it works. It really works. And again, I said bullshit. I was like, oh, come on, man. You know what?
So did I.
Yeah, like just deadlift and squat and do all the multi-joint movements, get heavy with them. You'll grow. No, you won't grow as fast as the ARX machine. You just won't. You can't. Because it leverages technology and science in a way that is you're not able to reproduce any other way.
It's
25 the 25 horsepower motor you're working against.
It's like, okay, a motorcycle and a bicycle. What's the difference?
Yeah, a lot. One has a motor.
One has a motor.
Right.
They both have handlebars. They both have seats. They both have two wheels. Right. They both go in the ARX is a motor. It's a friggin' Ducati compared to a Mongoose. Right. If you can still get to where you want to go on a bicycle. But if you could do it on a Ducati, you would.
Yeah.
Right. The ARX, it's not like a magical thing. It's just a superior piece of technology. It's a better tool to use if you're in to that type of thing.
Yep. And we are. Those of us in this community, we want to be stronger and we want to live longer. And that's the answer. Muscle is metabolic currency. So get into the gym and make a deposit today. I started saying that from my very first show in 2005. And it's never been truer. John, thanks for being here today, brother.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing. When I was told that you wanted to have me on the show, at first I was like, yeah, great. Sounds good. I did not realize that you were as prominent and as big as you were. So I had a little bit of imposter syndrome coming into this, but you I don't think I was nervous one bit at all. So thank you for being
just two guys shooting the shit. And listen, I live in Louisville. I'm not far away from St. Louis. So when you get home, I'll make the trip and we'll grab or something.
Are you from Louisville?
No, I'm from Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn.
So the reason I ask is because you are the only person that lives in Louisville that I've ever heard call it Louisville.
Yeah. I used to call it Louisville when I first moved here, and then people started saying, "No, it's Louisville."
Yeah, like
I don't talk like that. I'm not saying Louisville.
Sometimes I say it wrong on purpose just to make people upset.
Piss people off. I do that too.
Because I'm an asshole.
Yeah. Hey, join the club. I'm a big one. All right, John, have a great weekend, brother, and we'll see you soon, okay?
You too, Carl. Thank you.
And that's it for today. We have plenty of shows next week. Hope you can. Don't forget, share the show. You never know. You may share this show today, and one person may go and find a facility with an ARX machine, start training, and years from now live longer because their health is better. And it's all because you took the time to hit the share button. It's so easy. Just do it. And we'll see everyone next week with more Superhuman Radio. Wait, somebody put a comment up here. Oh, R. Vasquez said thank you. And no, thank you for being here. The live listeners make this show so much more interesting for me. Thank you very much. We'll see everybody Monday with more Superhuman.